so I always like to know who's in the audience. Who has not been to the Heidelberg Project? Okay, so this is going to be really interesting for you all. You must go. It's very close. And who attended the Heidelberg 360 conference a few weeks ago? Oh, this is going to be really interesting. Okay, let's get right to it, Tyree. I'm saying thank you to all the sponsors and everything. Usher Board number 1, 2, 12, 16. Thank you, everyone. City of Detroit, MOCAD, board members. So, at the Heidelberg Project, there is a building. I cannot sit here. What is it called? There's some edifice, if you've been there, and it says, "This is not the Heidelberg Project." Have you all seen that? Yeah. Come on now, you've seen it, right? Yeah. Right, everywhere it's written everywhere. This is not the Heidelberg Project. This is actually genius marketing if you want to draw some attention to yourself. So my question is, Tyree, what is up with Tim Burke and this is not the Heidelberg Project?
I take the fifth.
No, you don't. Where's that post? I'm in conversation with Tyree Guyton. No, you don't take the fifth. No, you will not.
We will talk later.
Are you serious? So let me tell you what I heard. I heard that Tim Burke is gone. I don't know if that building is still there. We'll see if my friend will take me over there. But I heard he's gone. And since he's taking fifth, let me tell you what I know. Okay. What I know is, it is strange to go to the Heidelberg Project, which has been there 32 years, right? I'm just getting hip to using the correct pronouns, so I apologize if I don't get the right pronouns, right? So I think it's strange when you go to a place that is has worldwide visitors, and you're somehow distinguishing yourself from them. So can you at least tell us how it happened, that because you all had a good relationship in the beginning? No fifth on that, please?
Shit happens.
Are you serious? That's it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I'm just going to give you a little bit for now, and I'm going to get warmed up and
you want me to start right here and talk to
yes.
Oh man, I was ready.
Yeah, I'm going to get warmed up first.
Okay, so am I supposed to start with a little cute little question? Because look, it's red, and I'm going to have you pick. But these are the Oneita questions. So I'm here as a fan of the project, a former journalist, an art lover, and also as a friend who used to drive a taxi cab through the project. Do you want to talk about that?
I like your polka dots.
Do you like my polka dots? Thank you.
I like your little taxi.
So Tyree Guyton gave me this taxi a few years ago.
Straight from New York.
Yes. So will you please tell us about your experience in New York and about why you have a taxi thing? Will you tell us about that, please?
I'm using the taxi as a metaphor to get to ask a very important question. Where are we going? Where do you want to go?
So what happened? What inspired you? What incident happened when you and Janine were in New York City that inspired you to begin using the taxi as a metaphor?
Janine and I was in New York, their own business, and just came back from the city, living up in Pelham, and we flagged on a taxi this particular night. White guy drove up, looked at us, laughed, and drove off. The real world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. You're talking about the real world, right?
Right. So you just mentioned
life is stranger than fiction. The real world.
Yes, I write nonfiction, yes. And it's really strange. So you said you were in Pelham. What were you doing in Pelham? Like, didn't you all get married there?
We got married there in Pelham, and it was actually created a beautiful project in Pelham, New York. Mayor Ernie Davis invited us to come back. Thought it'd be great to come back and get married there in New York. So we did.
Who does not know?
Thank you, Janine.
Who does not know the story of how Janine and Tyree came to be? Oh, just a few of you. I think there are enough that we need to tell them.
Why don't you go ahead and tell them, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps.
Yes, sounds good. So, like many people, Janine was driving by the Heidelberg Project. And what do you do when you have, how many of you have come upon the Heidelberg Project with reverence when you came upon it? I did so at the free press, right? Now the project has been there forever. Here I am in 2001, and I'm driving the car. My son has just gotten a haircut, and I'm driving, and I stop, and I call the newsroom. I'm like, hey, somebody needs to get over here and cover this place. There's stuff everywhere. I don't know what it is, but this is a bunch of stuff, and you all need to come right. They're like, it's the Heidelberg Project. So then when I get, yeah. So everybody knows the Heidelberg Project. But if you're new and you come upon it, you're like, what's all this junk, man? What is this stuff, right? What is this garbage? What is this trash? What is it? What is it? And so Janine, she's very proud of it. Janine comes upon the project. She's a banker, great job, very degreed. She's a doctor of divinity too, you all. So she comes upon the project and she's like, what the hell is all this? She asked him that.
She did.
And he said, why don't you get out and look?
Yeah, I thought she was very arrogant.
Yeah, there she is, with the polka dot scarf at the bar.
She's on
glasses. Yes, he thought she was arrogant,
yes.
And he told her to get out and look, and she got out and she started looking around at the junk, the stuff, and she began to ask him a lot of questions. And what else did you tell her, Mr. Thing?
Well, she said something to me that was very interesting. She said, why would a contractor paint a house one color? Yeah, help me with that, Janine.
I said.
Yes.
She said.
What would make you put polka dots all over a house?
Yes.
You said, why would a contractor paint a house one color?
Right.
And I said, because it's supposed to be one color.
So did you get that? She said, why would a contractor paint polka dots all over a house? And he said, why would you paint it one color?
Yeah. It was my way of questioning Janine and giving it back to her. So what she said to me, what would make you put polka dots on a house? And I gave it back and said, why would a contractor paint a house one color?
Mm-hmm.
2 + 2 = 8.
Right, and we'll get to that. So then, he needed help, right? He needed help.
She was going to help me.
Yeah, Janine, no, she wasn't going to help at first. She kept stopping by. She kept coming by the project. Am I getting this right? She kept, she was interested. He was married, I just want to say that for the record. And she kept coming by the project, and he demanded that she was going to help him. So he had all these stacks, and she saw these letters from all over the world. People want to come, they want to film, so he needed someone to manage. I think he just shoved them at her like, do it. And so when she told her family, I'm leaving my good, not government job, but she's leaving her good job in the banking industry to go work for a nonprofit, they thought she was nuts, right? So my question, because you all can Google this stuff, but they're both here, so they can co-sign what I'm saying. My question is, there's so many people who drive by the project with the same reaction. What was it about that chick over there that made you eventually marry her? That's what I want to know.
She had an attitude.
Really?
And she said she was going to help me. And I laughed. And I thought,
Oh, you were arrogant too. Okay, game recognizes the game over here, right?
That's how you fix it.
Yeah, that's how you fixed it.
and then I ended up, honey, I can say that I ended up helping her, and when I die and come back, I'm coming back as Janine.
Yeah, I heard that. When he dies and comes back, right, he's coming back as Janine. So I want to know. And so they've been married. How many years is it now? 18 years. And yes.
But I would have to say to you that she's good.
Oh no, she's great.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's more than that.
She's absolutely
To put up with
magnificent.
me. Yeah. Oh, she's real good.
So next question is, may I ask one from the Oneita Plaza? All right, so this is what I want to know. At the Heidelberg conference, which the next time they put one on, everyone should attend. It was awesome. It was great. People came from all over the country. There were sessions. The first one was at the Father Casey Center, and the second one was at his studio. Yes, and we concluded.
Yes.
You ready for this? We concluded at Easter Market, and guess who was there? Maurice Cox was there. Do you all know who Maurice Cox is? Who does not know? Maurice Cox works for the mayor. He is at the city of Detroit, and if I get his title wrong, you can Google it, but he is the director, I believe, of city planning and development. And my line is, I'm a bus rider, so you all know, and I always say, Maurice Cox rides bikes. I wish Maurice Cox rode buses. Now, I'm not saying this without prejudice. I was Maurice Cox's taxi driver, so I do know this man, so I'm not speaking behind his back. But I know this man, and I was his cab driver. And Maurice Cox, let me give you the setting of the room. There's nothing but love in Shed 5 at the conference. And Maurice Cox gets up, and Janine had him there talking about maybe what's next, because I don't know if you all know, but there's a memorandum of understanding now. For the first time in the history of the Heidelberg Project, the city intends to work with the Heidelberg Project. There's an official memorandum of understanding. Yes, absolutely. But apparently they don't understand too much. I cracked myself up. You all have to be in the room, okay? I know it's on tape somewhere, but you have to be in the room. Maurice Cox gets up, the room gets frigid. It gets it's really quiet. There's no nodding, there's no applauding. There it is. There's stiffness. So I think Janine is sitting next to me. Tyree Guyton gets up and asks a question, and Maurice Cox manages an answer. And someone else asks another question, because this was not in a fraternity, this line of thought, if you will, of the Heidelberg Project. And after it was over, you know how you want to take something outside. So Tyree Guyton took Maurice Cox outside, and I would like to know, what did you say to Maurice Cox?
You really want to know?
Look, it's on my paper. This is my number one. I've been dying to ask this question. What did you say to Maurice Cox? Come on, we gotta come down. Come on.
You really want to know?
Dude, really, Tyree.
I had to kick his ass.
You what? You what?
I had to kick his ass.
Okay, but what did you say before you did that?
I had to do it up here in his mind. And what I mean by that,
What did you say?
I saw the need to educate Maurice in a way where I just got rid of saying I had to kick his ass. I had to talk to him. I had to, he needed to be polite for me to explain to him. But you do it in such a way where you're not beating a person up. You're helping the person, you're helping them to help you. And I've learned that over time. You don't do evil for evil. You take evil and you turn it around by loving him. See, Maurice been here 3 years. I've been here 32 years. You can't come over there telling me about Heidelbergology. You can't come over here telling me about this city. I've been here all of my life. So I had to educate Maurice. And that's why the Heidelberg Project today, sitting here, I would safely say to you in the audience here, it's a medicine. See, we have to build bridges here in the city of Detroit, and that's what I've been doing for 32 years. Bringing black people, white people, Martian aliens to that project. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I had to explain to Maurice. What I want to say to you, Maurice is going to be my best friend now.
Good.
Come on, I have to kick his ass.
Right, and he needs to be, because my sentiment was somehow the city has this impression that they need to help Tyree, bless his heart. And I think that the Heidelberg Project does not need your help, as well established. They do not. I mean, they don't need the city's help establishing who they are or proving to anyone who they've done well enough on their own, right? The city needs to help them, however Janine and Tyree say it. That was just my sentiment.
Let me piggyback and share something with you on what you just said. Together we can move mountains, but I'm not going to sit and wait. I've been doing this for the last 32 years, and I believe in, and I say this often, keep it moving.
Right.
That's what I've been doing. Oh, I also want to make this point. In this gallery, there's a taxi in there, and there's a image of the Last Supper. And I'm talking about this white Jesus. And I believe that the waiting game here in the city of Detroit has gotten a lot of us in trouble. We've been waiting for something to fall from the sky. That's not going to happen.
So no white Jesus is coming to save us, is what you're saying?
Well, if you become to say, you call me.
All right, so what I want to know too is there's something that was stolen, that's correct, for colored people? Is it, well, maybe it wasn't stolen, did it disappear, it's missing?
Disappear.
Will you tell us about that piece, what it was, why you think it's gone, missing?
We are talking about a piece that's here at this institution, is the drinking fountain. There was a blackface image that was in one of the fountains, and that image came up missing. But let me also share something with you. This is very interesting. I was on a project today, and I went home to have lunch, and I left, and I went to the Heidelberg Project. And I heard this little voice in my head that said to me, go back to the project. And I went to the project. There was a guy today over on the Heidelberg Project painting on my damn arm.
It was what?
Painting on my arm. A guy who said that he had just moved here from Ohio. Caucasian guy. And I could not believe it at first. But guess what he did? Power to the people.
Oh my goodness. And how long did this conversation last with you and this guy?
It didn't take long for me to make my point.
Right.
Because I stand for something. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, even with the piece here and what was happening on the Heidelberg Project, I'm talking about respect. That's something that is missing today in this life at this time. Respect for other people.
I've seen this happen at the project so many times, yes. Will you talk about just the experience of working at your project? Wait, first let me not interrupt myself. Have you ever seen him working at his own project? Yes, no, okay, well, as a cab driver and person who was bringing people from all over the world, really 6 continents, all the time, I would see people, is Jeff here?
Yeah.
Jeff, could you stand up for a second? So Jeff is a volunteer at the Heidelberg Project and has been for a very long time. Stand up so we can get the optics, please, right? So there are times when Jeff and the artist known now as Tyree Guyton and formerly as Tyree Guyton, when they are at the project at the same time, and all the white people run up to Jeff thinking he's the artist. It's like Karen and Savvy Chic. Do you all know Savvy Chic? All right, well, there's a store at Easter Market called Savvy Chic. And Karen, the black woman, is the owner and has been for a very long time. And that place in Grosse Pointe is, hijacked the name. And Deborah works there. And people walk into Savvy Chic thinking Deborah is the owner. So people go by the Heidelberg Project and think that Jeff is the artist. And how do you feel about that?
2 + 2 = 8.
2 + 2 = 8. All right. So this is a thing we'll return to. 2 + 2 = 8. What else did I want to ask?
But let's talk about that.
About Jeff.
Jeff, it's good to see you here tonight. Hey guys, also I want to let you guys know that Jeff is an educator.
Yes, he is.
And thanks a lot. Last year, Jeff invited me to his school to work with some young folks. Jeff, we must do that again this year.
So there's a competitor, I guess, another taxi service. May I share this story about the lady who runs the tour business, and she didn't know you were you and she was afraid? May I tell that story? So, there is Showtime, Show Something, they're black bands.
Show me Detroit.
Show me Detroit, right? The funny thing is you're doing tours of Detroit, but you don't even know who this man is. And this is like one of the greatest attractions. You cannot make this stuff up, right? And she was afraid. He walked up to, tell me if I'm lying. He walked up to the Show Me Detroit van, and this woman does not get out. Now, I'm not speaking for him, I'm speaking for me. I've seen this. Because I do my own tours, you can Google. I have seen this woman drive through the project and drive all over the city, and she will not get out. The one time I saw her get out was at Cass and Willis. You know Cass and Willis, Cass Corridor, Midtown. Right, so check it out. So you have Avalon over here, and then like Flow Boutique in the center. And I was standing there being a butthole because I like to do that. And I observed this woman and her tour group. They had a bus, right? Well, maybe they were European, but they were from somewhere else. And they're only at Avalon. They did not, it was a line of demarcation. They did not go beyond Avalon. So I've seen this at the Heidelberg Project, and I think it's interesting. And so I want to get into the idea of experts, because in my life, I've found that there are people at the top who are purported to be experts, and they don't know much. So there's some kind of talk that was here recently, and some expert came to talk to you, and they came to talk about you, right? This woman named Rachel Adams, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but.
And also we got Janine over there too that can help out.
I just want to make sure, I'm glad I have people to make sure I'm not up your line. I still have my journalistic standards, but she didn't even talk to either of you, is that correct?
That's true.
So you're an expert.
She's not the first.
Understand this. Okay, she's not the first, and
She's not the first.
maybe she won't be the last, but
Absolutely.
if you all are hiring experts or having people come in and talk, right, send no expert who's not an expert, right? So how are you coming to talk about the Heidelberg Project, and you, Janine, am I right? Did she talk to you? Did Rachel Adams talk to you? Yeah. Okay, is this a person who did a PhD? Maybe the thesis was on, what do you call it, dissertation? Yeah. Dissertation about the Heidelberg. But she ain't ring her phone. Did she call you?
She forgot.
Right, so, I don't know if it's the Bible or something, Bible scholars beware of people coming in at night or something like that, or is that some black nationalist stuff that they call for you? I don't know what it is, but somewhere, please beware of these experts we hire. And just in my own life, I've seen people who call me from Germany asking me if this newspaper who wrote this article about this subject you just put a book out on, did they call you? Like, maybe I'm not the expert, okay? So I can check that out.
But let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes, please do.
Let's talk about the real world. Everything that's happening in the real world. And what I've come to understand after 32 years of working on the project and dealing with the public, you have to teach. A lot of times we don't know that we don't know. And I'm talking about black, white, green, purple. The whole world comes to the Heidelberg Project. And what's interesting about this life is that, and in this case here, you're talking about this young lady who wrote a PhD, and she is trying to talk about the Heidelberg Project. And never had, or never contacted myself or Janine Woodfield. But that's nothing new here in the world. Not at all. And it won't be the last time that something like that happens. But I want to say to you, as we sit here tonight and we're talking about some of these issues, if I had to go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't change that damn thing.
Why
because
not?
it made me the person that I am today. Who am I today? You want to know?
Sure.
I can do anything. And my job, and I know this for a fact, I've been put here by the creator of this universe, Yahweh, to do what I have been doing for the last 32 years. Using art to change the world. Using art to build bridges. Using art on the east side of Detroit. And this lady you were speaking of that brings people there from all over the world. She has not gotten on the vehicle yet, but damn it, I got her coming. Mm-hmm. That was the time she didn't come.
Right.
Now she's coming. So in this room here, there are some clocks. All the things, absolutely, like you're watching. All things in time. And what you might do today, someone else might not want to do it today. So you have to be patient with people. That's what I have learned over the years.
I've seen that. I would like to ask, so you have significant influence throughout the world. How many of you know that there are Tyree Guyton pieces or Heidelberg Project, similar projects all over the world? Do you know that Tyree and Janine, they've been to 5 continents, and then in December, that's next month, right? Next month they're going to Africa. So now the influence of this man, one man, and one paintbrush, and a dot and a vision, you're going all over the world doing all kinds of things. Do you want to talk about what you've done on any of the continents? What about what you do in Quito? Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. So there is a...
Let's talk about Quito, Ecuador.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Can we talk about Switzerland and Maori? Do you all know, who does not know that Tyree went away for a year to Switzerland? Come on, hands high, you don't know, good. Listen, let me tell you what happened. Maori, what's his name? Wax. Joel Wax of the Andy Warhol, he's the president of the Andy Warhol Foundation. Joel Wax and this woman, Maya Ori, is like Ouyeri or something. She's a billionaire in Switzerland. They came to Detroit for an event. Something, right? A show, maybe. And Joel Wax took Maya Ori to the Heidelberg Project. I will be an editor. Maya Ori was like, oh my goodness, whoever created this needs to rest. And she invited Tyree. I got this right? You laughing? Is that a good laugh? Okay, yes. He needs to rest. Whoever did this, they need to chill. And so she invited Tyree to Switzerland for a year to chill. This man right here, all right? So we have people coming from all over the world, and they understand the power and the dynamic and the energy and the influence and what it's like. Have you ever tried to paint a dot? He let me paint a dot. It's not as easy as it looks, and that's just a dot. No, who's tried to paint a dot before? Who hasn't? That stuff is hard, right? And so what did you do? What did you do for a year in Switzerland?
I went over to Switzerland, and so when you're in Switzerland, guess what you have to do? You have to act like the Swiss. That's what I did. So I had a great time.
And what did that great time include? Well, where were you when the man was trying to holler at Janine? What country was that?
We were in South America.
South America. Tell it.
Yeah, he needed to.
Don't you all want to hear these stories? Is it just why you're here? Yes? No? Why are you here? She said no. You want to know about this process? Yeah, we're getting to that. I got all these dots up here.
Well, we don't have all night now.
Oh, all right. Wait. What time is it?
So
There's some people who want to hear the story.
Which one? Which one? That's a lot of story. Which one? Switzerland? Janine's story? Yeah, we was in South America, Quito, Ecuador. And there was a gentleman who met Janine, and Janine and I were staying in this hotel. But you have to remember, Janine and I was not married at that time. So this gentleman came back, and I heard this guy playing his guitar. And I looked over, I was upstairs at the balcony, looked over, and so he was out there. He was trying to get Janine's attention because he wanted Janine to bring him back to America.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to her, what's good for her is good for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to get to another concern about art. And did you all check out the process back here?
Yep.
You all checked out this exhibit. So I do have some questions here about process. One of the questions I want to know is, what were your art teachers like? We know your grandfather's influence, but tell me about your art teachers.
Charles McGee, Ollie McGee. I remember when I first met Charles McGee, and some of you guys probably heard me say this before. I went over and I thought I was shit, and I took my portfolio over for Charles to see. And Charles McGee took a painting, and he placed his painting on the easel, and Charles McGee began to paint over my painting. And I was sitting there looking at Charles, and I said, what the hell is wrong with him?
Like the guy today?
In this case, what Charles McGee said to me, I was a young student over at the College of Creative Study, and he said that that he needed to get all of that out of me, that those white people had put in me in that institution. That's what he said to me. So Charles and Ollie McGee told me, there's 3 things they told me to do. They told me to lock myself up in the studio, listen to John Coltrane, 4 things. Smoke some weed and paint myself naked. So I did all of that.
So tell us about your process. You evolved from painting naked. So you brought your notebooks. What's in your notebook?
And you started something, because now I'm ready to go.
I got dots for days.
Well,
What's in the notebook, man?
these are little drawings that I do, and they keep a notebook with me all the time, and I'm always drawing. When I'm on an airplane, when I'm traveling, what's that? Janina's driving, and I'm drawing, and I'm thinking. So yeah, so this is my Bible. I'm creating my own Bible.
Well, what's in it?
It's a series of drawings, a series
What kind of drawing?
I mean, I have the Big Mountain series. You go in there, you see the Big Mountain series. Series of faces, the faces of God. And God has a lot of faces, so yeah, so that's what's in here. And then I have some things in here I don't want to show you. At least not yet.
Tell us, please, about 2 + 2 = 8.
2 + 2 = 8. And I would have to say, I love arguing with kids. I get them to come over all the time, and I say to them, 2 + 2 = 8, and kids say to me, no, until we get into an argument. For me, 2 + 2 = 8. What do you mean by that, Tyree Guyton? You have to make it up. In the writings of Plato says that time is the movement image of reality. So I've created my own reality based on this theory, which is 2 + 2 = 8. Don't have to be right, don't have to make sense, but I'm having a great time.
What's your typical day like?
Like today,
Yes.
today started off at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have a man cave, and every morning I go into my man cave to meditate and prepare myself to come out here into the world. I see the world, it's like a stage, and every one of us, once again, according to Plato, he said that we are all taught God, we are all playing our parts in this great creation, so, and then I had some oatmeal.
Still cut holes, quick.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness. All right, I got like 16 questions. She said
Okay.
no, just...
Right quick, the oatmeal came from Whole Foods, so it's some of the good stuff.
Okay, so we just have a few more minutes, and we'll pass it to our mama. Tell us about your family and some of you had 8 siblings, is that correct?
It was 10 of us.
There were 10 of you, and some of them are deceased. So we
4.
talk about 4 deceased.
4 deceased. And last year my mom passed last September 25th at 9:17 p.m. Yeah. Hey, Mom.
All right, we're poker at it.
And that's her in the process room. Those paintings of the Big Mama series. That's my mom.
You also, did you work at the Ford factory?
I did.
Were you a firefighter?
I did.
What else did you do?
That was it. That was enough.
That was enough?
That was enough.
All right, I remember that you were saying something about homework before. No one helped you with your homework. Will you tell us about that? When you were younger?
Well, I hated school. How many of you guys in here hated school? Wait, first, I hated school. Damn, I hated school. And it would make me go to church, and I hated that too. Sitting there at church looking up at that white Jesus, I hated that. Had me hypnotized.
So tell us about this dismantling now, because I think there's some things people don't understand. Think you're getting rid of the project, are you moving it, where's the stuff going?
We are creating what I call it Heidelberg 3.0, Heidelbergology. Let me explain. Heidelbergology is the study of found material and people incorporated back into the fabric and the structure of that community as a result of that study. For the last 32 years, the world has been coming to the Heidelberg Project, a project that is located in the city of Detroit in a neighborhood that is broken. And some of the people are a reflection of the brokenness that you see there. So here's this project that I'm using now as a medicine.
What I want to know is, it seems like people are finally catching up to you after 32 years. How do you feel about that? Then now they're kind of like getting it.
It had everything to do with the Swiss and inviting me to come over there because they felt I needed a break, so I gave people a chance to catch up with me. Once again, I want to go back and I want to talk about the time theory. You have to learn to let people do what they need to do in their own time frame. And so having people to catch up with what I have done today, I'm excited about it. That people are catching up. People are coming over, building these bridges.
I would like to know, as a former journalist, you've been misunderstood and maligned and misjudged, and I would like to know, what is it that you wish people got right about you?
Well, let me talk about my damn self first. I mean, how many times you think I've been misunderstood by me? How many times do you think I had to fight Tyree Guyton? I had to get Tyree Guyton out of the way. Mm-hmm. And when I first started the Heidelberg Project, when I first started making art, that's what I wanted people to do. I wanted people to like my artwork. Shame on me. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not going to like what you do. I don't give a damn what you do. You have to accept that reality. So I've learned to accept that reality. But I will say this. Folks who don't like my artwork, guess what? Those are my best friends.
Really? What motivates you to keep going? And what would you tell young people to do to keep going? Any people working in any media, what would you tell them to do to keep going? Or what keeps you going?
I have a burning desire in here. I found my passion. I know my purpose for being here, and I'm not afraid to die. Just say I was called to leave this planet tomorrow. I'm ready. I would say to young people today, believe in yourself, trust yourself, and do it your way. There's some boards in there, and on those boards, the word you. You gotta be you. Because if you're trying to be someone else, you're gonna get in trouble. So you gotta be you.
It looks like I can keep asking questions. What do you wish people would stop asking you? I have my own theory on the question, but what do you wish they would stop asking you?
I don't want people to stop.
Really?
I don't want people to stop. I want people, and I'm so happy that I'm married to that woman over there because every time I go home and she helps me to understand. You gotta let people be people. So I don't want to stop people. I don't want to tell people how to think. In the writings of Dr. Rudolf Steiner, in his book, The Philosophy of Freedom, you have to let people think for themselves. So I don't want people to stop asking questions. Keep asking.
Is there anyone in here who does not know why he paints dots? Everyone knows? Okay, so there are some people. Will you tell us about your dots?
It started with my Grandpa Sam Mackey. I remember when we were playing with the city of Detroit, and it was on a Saturday, and him and I was having tea in the kitchen, and there was a jar of jelly beans on the table, and I said, that's Plan B. And we started painting the house. Started putting these polka dots all over the house because of those jelly beans. But also, I left in my will too, honey, I can tell them this, right? That when I die, my whole body's going to be covered with dots. What are you guys laughing about? If they don't do it, I'm coming back from the dead. What was that, Roy? What was that about a bagel?
Tell us about this oven. The world's on fire.
The world is on fire. So people are on fire.
Where's that?
It's in there. It's a stove. Yeah, the world is on fire. I have my own experience of dealing with the arson fires. Fire, you need fire. You need heat. The sun is on fire. So absolutely.
So Janine was asked that question, how they dealt with the fires, when we were at the conference, and Janine said that she has a box of like 42, 43 notebooks, and she writes, because these things are hard, and it's painful, and she said, you cry it out, you write it out, do whatever you need to do, and they keep going. And it's one of the things that I admire about them. So Janine writes, how do you handle the frustrations and ugliness? What do you do?
Well, she sends me out there to deal with it. Yeah, so I have to go out and deal with it. Like when we had the series of arson fires, I went over to the site to deal with every single one of those fires. Janice chose not to go. And you make the best of it. There is something inside of me, Oneita, that it won't let me stop. I'm in a whole nother zone, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I say to the world, I'll say this first. In order to tap into your true greatness, you got to go through something. The only way you're going to really find out what you are made of, you got to go through something. It's like a roller coaster, up and down and all around and upside down, and you have to hold on tight because life is taking you somewhere. And what I have said, and I said this to the press, said it to people, the folks, and there's that painting of one of the fire on that wall in there. I didn't do it. I don't know who did it, but the person who set this house on fire, they know. And they did me a favor now tonight. You know why? Because it gave me courage. And I remember having this conversation with some architects when I wanted to build on top of this foundation. And the architect said, well, we got to tear down the foundation. And I said, no, we got to keep those foundations, and we have to build on top of them. 2 + 2 = 8. That was my way of taking the old, combining it with the new, to create something new.
What surprises you, or is there anything that surprises you after 32 years of doing what you do?
Not today.
Not till tomorrow?
I tell you what might surprise me today if I was to get some aliens to come to visit the project. That might surprise me.
Yeah, I'll try it. Oh my goodness, are we getting to what do you do when you're frustrated?
You don't want to.
Yes, I do want to know.
You don't want to know.
Yes, we do.
Do we have any cops out here and all that? FBI folks in here?
No, it's all family.
You
You can take the fifth if you want. I'm just trying to figure out because you have so much placed upon you. It's a lot of weight. And so how do you release?
I went over today to visit my doctor. He wrote me a prescription out.
Okay.
So I smoke a joint every now and then.
All right. Well, let's look into. I hear you paint, you zone out with a lot of jazz. That's part of your process.
Miles Davis, John Coltrane. And then every now and then I throw in a little Beethoven, Fifth Symphony, a little Mozart, mixed it.
I have a practical question. Where do you buy your paintbrushes?
I can't tell you.
Nobody can do what you do. Where do you get them at?
I don't know.
Where do you get paid?
I can't tell you.
Okay, all right.
We'll talk later.
Oh my goodness. I think my Oneita dots are dotted. Oh, wait a minute. About the conspiracy theory. Tell us about that.
When I look out into the world, and Jenny and I, we travel a lot, and when I look at the plight of mankind all over the world, I would have to say to you, there's a conspiracy in the world.
What's the conspiracy?
The President of the United States.
The President of the United States. Why do you think he's conspiring?
Look at his hair.
That's not nice. That's not nice. Can we go back to Tim Burke? Haven't we warmed up now? We can go back to Tim Burke. Tim Burke, this is not the Heidelberg Project.
How many of you guys have met Tim Burke? Okay.
I used to work with his wife.
Yeah. Tim Burke has been part of the Heidelberg Project for a long time. I've been knowing Tim about 25 years, and Tim recently moved away. He left the Heidelberg Project. His land, or his property went up for sale, and so the property was sold. I would say to you that that was the best thing, best decision that Tim Burke. That was a good decision. Yeah, it's good. Tim needed to be happy, and Tim was not happy there. And I was not happy having Tim there.
Why were you not happy?
I would have to say it has a lot to do with Tim, and I don't want to say anything bad about Tim because he's not here. And if you can't get along, then move on. And so I'm glad Tim made the decision to sell the land and to move on.
Don't you appreciate his diplomacy?
Yes.
I would be that diplomatic. One thing I wanted to ask, and maybe it's no longer an issue, but Janine was in the Free Press, I think, saying something. They had to blank out about the city of Detroit giving them a hard time. I would like to know, Tyree, what difference, if you've seen any, through how many of the mayors going back to?
6.
Yes. What differences have you seen in your interaction with the city of Detroit? Because I've read all those ugly letters and demanding that you do this and do that.
Yeah.
So what's good, my brother?
What's good is Tyree Guyton.
We know that.
When they go low, I go high. And I think Michelle Obama said something to that effect.
Really? Trite.
And once again, I'm saying to you, after 32 years, I've come to understand the importance of extracting the good from people and situations, and I refuse to go low. I want to stay up here with Oneita. I like this. I like being up here.
All right, I'm going to clap. I have a few more questions, but come on, y'all. Please. My friend on the second row? Yes, questions. I'm even going to hold the microphone or give it to you.
So, I don't know Tim Burke, but Tim Burke's side, tell me a little bit about how you do work with your neighbors and how do you inform their life and how do they inform your life and what kind of conversation do you have with them?
My neighbors? Well, my day starts off when I go outside to sweep up. I've been known to say good morning, hi. I've been known to go down to the Eastern Market on Saturdays and buy flowers for my neighbors. I've been known to extend love to my neighbors, that if you give love, you're going to get it back.
Yes.
And I would say to you that the Heidelberg Project, we have treated this village. That's right. And I'm excited. See, I can't do it without my neighbors. And my success is their success, and their success is my success. So to answer your question, that's how I'm doing it.
Will you tell us about the neighbor who, I guess she started out as an opponent of the project, and then she became one of your best friends? They tend to convert people, and if anyone else has a question, raise your hand, I'll bring you a microphone.
You're talking about Mr. Bell, who also appeared on the Oprah show with me.
Yes, he's been in any kind of publication, if you haven't seen it, anything that prints words on paper, he's been in it or on it. But the lady missed out.
Ms. Bell started off not liking the project at first, but over time, and I want to go back to what I said a few minutes ago, when you exhibit love, they come back, and then the time factor. I knew eventually that Ms. Bell would come around, and so over time, Ms. Bell, today she's my best friend. And that's how you do it. You just keep sending out love, love, and love.
Okay. You said that people who don't like your artwork are your best friends. I'm curious about why.
Say that again.
You said that people who don't like the Heidelberg Project, those are some of your best friends. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I do. You know what Charles McGee said to me? I'm waiting to get her attention. You guys good? Oh, yeah, I'm going to answer the question. Charles McGee said to me, he said, Tyree, just say you have this art show, and 100 people came to see the show, and everybody liked the show. Something's wrong with that. You need opposition. You need people to like it, and you need people to not like it. And let me go a little deeper than that. There are some days, I don't know about you, there are some days I don't like myself. What about you? I'm talking about the real world.
I have a question. In what other media do you work? You know how one of my favorites is Los Angeles, the shoes. Will you talk about that, please? And your sculptures and your mosaics and stuff.
Yeah, you said that. I'm thinking about the piece over at Wayne State University over by the Welcoming Center. It's a still piece. It's doors. I believe it's a door to opportunity. But every day we're in and out of doors. So, and I love working with different materials. And
Like?
The piece in Los Angeles, the tile piece, it's a wall. It's in one of the train stations. So yeah, I like mixing it up at times.
What are you saying? Listen, in Los Angeles, there's a Beverly train station, and it's not a drawing, it's not paint, it's not dots. What it is a mosaic. Is that the correct word?
Yes.
That had to be fabric. So it's shoes. So his inspiration, can you tell me that your inspiration, you saw the people walking in motion?
The piece is titled People in Motion. And as I sit here looking at you guys, and I think about life, everything is in motion. Everything is moving. You know why? It's supposed to be. And so I saw the people moving in time, moving. Janita and I in New York last week, people moving. Everything's in motion. And I was just blown fascinated by that. So I saw this wall piece, consists of shoes, people moving in motion.
He's so modest. This piece is it's a big shoe, and he had to have it fabricated and with the glass. You have to Google it, okay? Just Google it. Vermont Beverly Los Angeles Station.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman back there with the question. Janine must say something about Vermont Beverly. Are you going to say that it's the only thing that you did not compete for? Oh, I'll tell you. The only thing they have ever competed for was the Los Angeles Vermont Beverly Station in the entire 32 years. They're usually invited to do stuff, and I think that's awesome. I do. Janine.
So, I hope everybody can hear me. One of the things that I think is really important, and I'm hoping that we can bring out a little bit more, is the journey of the Heidelberg Project and what we have experienced in the city of Detroit. And what I mean in particular about that is that it's said that Detroit has a bit of a complex. You know, we don't know how much we're celebrated all over the world, and how much, thank you, and how much, or how often people around the world, for example, Tyree and I went to Quito, Ecuador. We went to Brazil. And when we told them that we were from Detroit, they practically bowed. That's phenomenal to me. And so what we do in this city, what we produced in this city, what we made happen in this city is often not appreciated enough by Detroiters. And this is part of what our message has been about, is learning how to put our arms around ourselves and celebrate what we do that's powerful and that's good. But before we can do that, we've got to be honest about some of the things that we have dealt with and that we've experienced. And that comes on the heels of racial tension, it comes on the heels of privilege, and it comes on the heels of does or do great ideas only come from a particular race of people. That's where we are.
And these are the things that the Heidelberg Project embodies and opens up and asks us to explore. If we really want to look at how we make the world a better place, we've got to face some real significant truths. So no, I don't have a question. And then I'm making a comment, and this is part of what we do with the Heidelberg Project. Thanks.
Hey, Janine. This journey has been really 30 years, 32 years. Whatever you can think of, we have, not all of it, but we've dealt with a lot. I never thought that the Heidelberg Project myself, there came a time where the FBI got involved because some of my artwork was stolen. And never thought I would see the day where people would steal my artwork. Oh yeah, it's been incredible. And the FBI got the artwork back for us. I never thought I would see the day where people would sell my artwork to collectors and institutions. Yeah, never thought I would see that. And so I would say that it's been good, it's been bad, it's been wonderful, it's been exciting, it's been interesting, and it's not over.
The gentleman, you still have a question right there, right?
Yeah. First, I'd like to thank you for being here tonight. Very appreciate both of you. And firstly, I'd like to hear more about the various attacks on the Heidelberg Project from the city of Detroit throughout the decades, kind of going back to the question of the treatment of the different mayors, but just specifically the attacks on Heidelberg and how that's affected the transgression.
Wow, it's been interesting. It's dealing with the government, official, and also institutions. Oh yeah, it's been really interesting. And what I found out there are times when you're looking for people to come in to fight with you. A lot of times you find yourself there alone. But you need to be alone to understand the importance of fighting for you, for what you believe in. And so, the Hearts and Fires, I've had suburbanites that come in to throw beer bottles through some of my neighbors' windows. Now this is 32 years that I've been on this incredible journey. What else can I think of? The city, fighting the city of Detroit. I remember, you want to hear a real funny story? You're going to love this story. I remember one day, Janina was downtown in front of the city council. One of my neighbors said that we had big rats on the Heidelberg Project, that the rats are so big you could see them from a distance. And the neighbor also said that the rats was having sex with the possum. Whatever they were smoking, I want some. So there's been a lot of interesting stories. Let me share another story with you. This kind of came to me. It was on a Saturday. It was a beautiful Saturday during the summer. And this young lady came to visit the Heidelberg Project, and she was over on the next block in the park. And I happened to look over there, and this lady took off all of her clothes. She was naked, walking around. And I went over to talk with her because I wanted to make sure she was okay. And she said the art made her do it.
Well, there was another couple questions. I wanted to just say something about what Janine said. When Janine said that they wrap their arms around each other, or Detroit, Janine and Tyree wrap their arms around everyone. Everything they do, they involve the best of whatever field. The writers, the caterers, the videographers, they bring in other artists. I don't know if you all were privy to or invited to the barbershop thing that they did with Robert Sestock and Dabbles and Carlos Nealbach. That's what they do. They put people, as the young people say, they put you on. If you're excellent in your field, Janine and Tyree find a way. Janine is a beast. I tell her that all the time. And you just, I've seen the people that she rolls with, and she brings everyone along. And if we all did that, right? If you have access and influence, and you did what they do, you can just see it when you go to their events. If you didn't know why people were in the room, you would not know. Because they have people from all over the world, every demographic, you name it. And I just want to thank you all for that part of your humanity.
Having you to say that, I'm looking around the room here, and I want you to know that there are some folks that's here tonight. And there's a guy over there, and I know he's going to talk to me later. You don't want me to point him out. But that's my friend, and that's Roy and Jody. That's my man. That's my friend there.
Wait.
Yeah, with that
Hey,
hat. Let me tell you a little secret about that guy there. He said to me, he said, I'm gonna make you look good. And so this guy makes my frames for me, this guy here, guys. So he makes me look good, this guy. There's another person right here. I'm looking at this lady here brings people waving a hand from all over the world for me to meet that lady there. Oneita that's sitting there, who was part of the Heidelberg team. Yes. And there that's Tony over there trying to hide, but I see Tony that was part of the family. And what Janine said, she said she wanted a team of folks, different shades, different sizes, different colors, a universal team of people that will take the product to the next level, which is the Heidelberg 3.0 that I was talking about earlier. So I'm excited. So I just want to say that together. So here's the team, these folks here, and then Jeff over there.
Yes. John,
yeah, we have 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 right now. But get my attention.
I guess I want to start with a quick question. But I think I know the answer, so I have a follow-up question. One is, would you consider yourself an optimist? And if so, I feel a lot of optimism in a lot of what you're talking about, but I don't want to derail it. How do you maintain your optimism while the world is on fire and while traditionally I feel like the arc of history bends towards justice, but recently it hasn't felt that way, and I'm wondering how you would advise something a tragedy like this.
I want to make sure I understand the question.
Okay, let me start from the beginning. Would you consider yourself an optimist? Okay, so how do you maintain your optimism when it feels like there's a lot less to be optimistic about? At least that's my question.
I believe there is something greater than mankind that's controlling this. That same energy that put the sun up in the sky, it's in me. That gives me hope. I believe there is a creator. His name is Yahweh for me. Knowing him, because when I look out into the world, it's crazy. Looking at California, what's happening. And you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. As I sit here tonight, I have a hope. I believe that when I die and leave this world, there is something greater that awaits me. That's my strength. That's my hope. So, I believe we have to go through something. I believe Tyree Guyton had to go through everything that I had gone through to make me the person that I am today. I have a peace that mankind cannot give me. I'm in another zone, so every time they would tear down the project or the bullshit from the city, it kept me moving. And every time they knock it down, that voice down in here, that little small voice that was powerful, said to me, make it greater and don't stop. That's my hope, my friend. I have something worth living for. I have something worth dying for. Frederick Douglass, see if I can get it right. He said, where there's no struggle, there's no progress. You need a struggle in order to make progress. Hallelujah.
Hi, Tyree. We had the privilege of meeting about 10 years ago.
What's happening?
Not much, man. I lived in a bad neighborhood in Southwest Detroit, and I had my house broken into 5 times, and I needed to get out, so I went for a bike ride and went to Heidelberg Project. This dude was just out there working paint, and I had no idea who you were, and you just, for whatever reason, came up to me and talked to me, and I don't remember how we got into the discussion, but I was like, my neighborhood sucks, I don't know what to do, how did you do this? And he said, just paint a dot, man. But I never did it. I never painted a dot, and I regret it. And my neighborhood got really overrun by gangs and stuff. And I've been sitting here thinking about, you had this guy come paint on your stuff today. And that's not the first time that's happened to you. You got gangs all around you, and you've been dealing with that stuff all the time. How do you have the courage to deal with that? How do you interface with those people? What did you say to that guy today? Thank you.
Woo-wee. That's powerful. Tell you a funny story. Had some guys, they lived on the next block, and they came over one day, and I had this motorcycle out on the project. And these guys on the next block decided it's going to take the motorcycle and had it on the next block. And someone told me, said, man, they get your motorcycle on the next block. And I went around there, and they had the motorcycle on the next block, and it was on it, and I said to them, I want you to return that motorcycle today at 5 o'clock, and I'd be damned if they didn't. You know why? I want to run it with courage. I want to run it to talk to them. And I want to run it, and I want my actions to say to them, this is not right. Respect. So you gain trust, and this is one of the things I said to Maurice Cox. In order for someone to trust you, you first got to trust yourself. And trust is something that's earned. And I would say to you today, all of those little guys, little young guys in there, little gang guys want to be tough, they have the utmost respect for Heidelberg Project. I earned that. So now if you came over there and you tried to take something, they would stop you. And when I leave, go out of town, they over there sweeping up, raking up, and looking up from the project. You earned it. Don't stop. And then someone started a rumor. They started this rumor in the neighborhood. They said, he's the voodoo man. I decided I was going to play with that, so I'm the voodoo man. Hi.
I deeply respect listening to you talk about your passion and how you very much have a conviction that this is your purpose in life. And I speak for myself, I'm an artist, but in our own fields, I think we're all searching for that conviction. And I think once we find it, it brings us to those truths that we need to ask and work together. And in that light, what I'm wondering is, how did you come to that confidence that you are doing what you were meant to be doing? And as part of it being a journey, when do you decide that what's the next step, or how do you reevaluate that to figure out what your next purpose might be, if there is one?
I love music. I love it. I have reached a level in my life where, and it's going to sound a little crazy, I hear it. I hear it. What I hear in here, I'm able to see it in my mind. Then I can put it on paper. Janine and I was over in Sydney, Australia, and we met this beautiful young lady by the name of Shireen. And she said to me, she said, you have to learn to give it to the wind. That's what I'm doing. Give it to the wind. Oneita said something earlier, you kind of touched on it. After 32 years, I'm going to dismantle, I'm going to take apart the Heidelberg Project in a methodical way. You know why? Because I heard it. Take it apart, Tyree Guyton. Then that way you can see it from both extremes. I created it, and now I'm going to take it apart so I can talk about both extremes of making it, taking it apart. I love those old Dr. Frankenstein movies.
Over here? Okay. I'm over here. Over here. Right here.
Hello.
Hi.
I would like to know if you have a favorite artist, whether it's local, international, inspiring, or just that you love this person. Can you tell me if there's one person you really admire?
Wow, that's tough. Grandpa Sam Mackey, my grandfather, who his work is next door here. It's because of him I went to art school. I remember that day, I was 9 years of age, and he gave me a paintbrush, this hand. I was a kid, I was 9. And my hand was on fire. And up here in my head, it was like fireworks going off in my brain. And I knew it. So to answer your question, Grandpa Sam Mackey. And as I moved on to think about Picasso and Jim Dimes and Charles McGee, and yes, but Grandpa Mackey is at the top.
You may have already said this, but where is the Heidelberg Project headed?
Where's it headed today?
You're going to take it apart.
Yes.
You're going to put it back together. And where?
I want to tell you, but I can't. Just know we just came back from New York, and I think that we're on a plane in about 10 days, headed to Miami.
So, I'm going to just give you guys a little bit more of a, update of where Heidelberg Project is 3.0. I want you to know that Tyree and the Heidelberg Project are now separated. It's very exciting. He's given 32 years of his life to the city of Detroit, to that street. And we feel that it's time for him to become, or to do his artwork, and to create art and have exhibitions around the country and the world. What that means is that he has dumped the Heidelberg Project in my lap, so to speak. And the essence of 3.0 is simply this. Please get this in your mind and communicate it to others. The Heidelberg Project is transforming from an art installation created by one man to now an arts community that will be enfolded or incorporated by many. Does that make sense? So that means that the Heidelberg Project now is a gift to the city of Detroit. We will do something that nobody else is doing around the country and the world. and everybody has an opportunity to participate. I had like 3 glasses of wine, I'm a little drunk. But no, everybody no, seriously, everybody will have a chance to participate. Now, I think that's very important because remember, Detroit is a city of originality. And we're going to continue that tradition. And the Heidelberg Project is going to help to define what we're going to be for the next 25, 30, 40 years. So you're all invited.
Okay, I was just thinking when, I don't know if you've ever been asked this question, but you know, every artist always gets categorized, like those art critics that created the term impressionism from Monet painting. So I'm wondering if you could be categorized, you know, because would you have you want to be considered a modern artist? And also when you were in Europe, like in Switzerland, I know like Paul Klee was Paul Klee's a big Swiss artist. Were you inspired by him when you were going to the art museums in Europe? Some of these great like German expressionists like Eric Appel and whatnot.
I'm trying to process what I just heard. Whether or not I've been influenced by European artists, I would like to say that my time in Switzerland and my time in Germany and during my time in Switzerland, I had a chance to go to Austria. I had a pass, and in Switzerland there's 42 museums. I had a pass for a year to go to every single one of those museums, and I took advantage of that. I had a chance to study a lot of Picasso's and Matisse, Andy Warhol. The foundation that invited me over in her home, she had these $20 and $40 million paintings. So yes, I was influenced by that. But I tell you one day, I witnessed at the Heidelberg Museum, them taking apart a Matisse painting. They took it apart downstairs and, and the guys got on white gloves and got it in a special room and taking it apart to clean it and keep it fresh. I had a chance to witness that too. I was wondering, how do they keep it so fresh? So I was able to see how that's done. Picasso. I love his blue period. And also a New York artist by the name of Jim Dine. He would do these bathrobe series, house coats and stuff. Really made a difference in my life. I think that when I came back, well, I know when I came back, I was really inspired to take what I had learned over in Switzerland and to bring it back here and to make it part of what I have been doing for the last 32 years. How would I categorize my work? I would have to say that it's everything you can think of. That's why I've been kind of playing around with that theory, 2 + 2 = 8. I saw the need to create a new kind of genre for what art can be for Tyree Guyton. And I remember being at this institution, I was speaking to a group of scholars and professors, and I said to them, what is art today? That was kind of rough, it was kind of way out there. No longer, I'm at a point, I don't need to ask that question anymore. And what I want to say to you tonight, that I've created my own definition of what my art has been for me, which is Heidelbergology, which is a 2 + 2. Don't have to make sense. So what category would I put it in? I'm making it up, and I'll let you know once I finish.
And unfortunately, we do have to wrap it up because time is not on our side. But I guess I should say a little. So there's a book called Process, which you all should check out. It is in the museum gift shop, and it is an amazing, amazing book. Me and our fabulous curatorial interns this summer worked on scanning over 200 of these studies. So stuff from tiny notebooks like the one Tyree's holding in his hand, to studies from all over the world, Australia, Switzerland, different parts of America. Just check it out. It's amazing. It's brilliant. And can you sort of, there are two things I want to ask you to talk about because I feel like they're important. Number one is thinking about that Charles McGee moment that you talked about earlier, where he painted on top of your painting and he was like, you gotta forget all this. Can you talk about the role that training has had, like professional training? Is that important? Is it not important? What does it mean for you personally? Because I think there's a lot to learn from the way that you were trained and then untrained and trained and untrained. And then the second thing is in this gallery, there is a piece, the tree that's coming out of the floor, which is a site-specific installation to the Y tree. And in that piece, you have representations of very different parts of your life. So you have your mom's slippers, you have military boots representing your time in military, you have different sort of pieces of these puzzles, and I guess I want to know, or I think the audience should know where that comes from, because that is such a profound sort of combination of a lot of parts of you. And I wonder if you can talk about both those things. I'm sorry.
Let me talk about the tree first.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Grandpa San Mackey, he was born in 1897 and came here in 1919 because he was looking for the American dream. He came here, he was looking for the house and the fence and the dog and all of that stuff. And Grandpa, now I'm a kid, and him and I would sit in the kitchen and we would drink tea before they started having these tea parties. We had tea way back. And I remember one day Grandpa said to me that, and he told me it was his brother, but then I found out later it was his uncle. His uncle was a slave, and they auctioned his uncle off, and he never saw his uncle again. And then he said to me, there was another time that he was taking a walk and he saw people hanging from a tree. They had been lynched. And I said to my grandfather, I said, well, what did you see really? And he said he saw the souls of the people moving and swaying in the wind. And that got my attention. So on Heidelberg Street, there was a tree, and I would put shoes up in that tree to talk about what Grandpa had shared with me. Grandpa growing up in the South. And I saw the need to bring the tree here to share, to bring that story here. But also, something else that goes with that. That tree, the branches, it's like the letter Y. Y. And if you look in the palm of your hand and these lines here, you see the Y's. And I began to play with it. I began to think about this why? Why this? Why do we die? Why? So I started playing with it. And I would ask God, Yahweh, a lot of questions about why do people have to hang from trees? Why this? Why are we living in the world today like this? Why? And guess what came to me? Why not? Because it's bigger than every single one of us. These stories, events, it's this way today, it's something else tomorrow. You hear today and then you die. And in most cases when you die, you leave your shoes behind. So those shoes that's hanging down from that tree in there, those are spirits, souls of the people. Why? And that was a part two. What was that first question?
Does training matter?
The what?
Does training matter? Does artistic training matter? Institutional training doesn't matter.
I don't think, and this is my opinion, and we can argue about this, that an institution can make you an artist. It's got to be in here. And I said something earlier. I said that I hear it, and I'm in this zone where now I've come to understand the importance of breaking all of those rules. 2 + 2 = 4. You make it up. You create your own reality. And that's what I'm doing. And it's okay to, I'm going to say this, this is so important. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay.
I'm gonna give it over to Oneita to wrap us up, but I do want to share that this summer, Janine and Tyree and I went to New Orleans to work on that book. We met with Dr. Charles Smith, who presented during the Heidelberg 360 conference. He's an amazing artist. If you don't know his work, you should really look him up. He runs the Black Veterans Archive and Institute for African American, I'm gonna mess up the museum? Culture. Thank you. And it's in Louisiana. And I happened to be going to New Orleans for a family reunion already. And so this trip was like a weird combination of work and family, and the way these two sort of just like held me and my family, including my 3-year-old niece, was so amazing, so profound. And working on these 2 exhibitions with them, I learned so much, and the way they care about the city, the people in the city, and emerging artists, curators like myself, is so profound and not to be taken advantage of. So I just want to thank you, because it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so proud, and I hope you're proud as well. And Oneita, this was an amazing talk. You killed it. Thank you. I just want to say thank you again to all of you. Again, Oneita, I'll just pass it to you, but thank you for being here.
I want to say to the audience that this has been fantastic. Working with this beautiful young lady, Joanne, and also I want to thank MOCAD and Alicia, she's here for making this possible. But you kicked ass. Thank you so much. And Alina, thank you so much too for this interview tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you.